So guys, in 2 weeks, I will be getting on an airplane. I will be headed to Melbourne, Australia to watch what they're calling the world title fight between champion Israel Adesanya and champion Robert Whittaker. And I know people love to throw interim in there. They love to throw undisputed in there. Guys, it's goddamn disputed is what it is. You got two guys with belts that say champion. That doesn't work. This thing's disputed, okay? Now, while you're fighting for championships over there, I guess, and while you're fighting to figure out 185, or while you're fighting to figure out whatever beef there is between New Zealand and Australia, and however all that works, guys, that's just not how I see it. I see this real cut and dry. There is one hell of a lot more on the line. They are fighting to find out who the greatest fighter in the UFC is. The days of Robert Whittaker being passed over because he doesn't talk and he isn't brash and he doesn't have his name all over TMZ and he hasn't ended up in handcuffs and therefore he can't get any run, when he's gone out there and put on some of the most amazing performances, albeit he's done it very quietly. He's put on some of the most amazing performances. He's won the toughest tournament in all of sports. He went through an Olympic champion, took him 10 rounds to do it. He injured his body, dealt with it, manned up and moved forward. How he is not in the discussions for the toughest guy to be doing it is far beyond me. And he's taking on Adesanya, who represents every single piece that you would suspect and you would want a guy to represent when you were looking for who is going to be the face of the organization moving in to the next decade. The better part of the next decade, Israel Adesanya is about to be the face of the organization. These guys are fighting for a hell of a lot more than a disputed or an undisputed or an interim championship. They are fighting for that, and that's a real thing, and I do not mean to blow it off, but in the case of what's going on here, the largest live attendance in history will take place that night. The largest box office, dollar for dollar, how much did you bring in, will be broken and take place that night. Whatever the battle, by the way, and I should probably know this, and you guys can probably tell, whatever the New Zealand and Australia thing is, where they're like the firemen in the police department, they just can't get it right. Okay, that's on the line. But I firmly do believe, and we have so many fights, and as soon as they're over, we all have a recency bias, myself included, fully admitted, to see a guy and go, that's the best fighter in the world. Khabib just fought. Khabib's the best fighter in the world. Stipe beat Daniel Cormier a couple weeks before. That's the greatest fighter in the world. I get it. That's a real thing, and that happens. And we're not wrong to do that. And a lot of times we're right. A lot of times it's ping pong. And they're just passing it back and forth. That is true. A lot of times you go, that's the greatest show of the year. And the very next week you go, that was the greatest show of the year. But you're right. It beat it. I get it. They're actually fighting. Whoever wins this fight's best fighter in the sport. Simple as that. I did not realize how good Adesanya was. I realized how fun he was. I realized how special he was. I realized how unique he was. I did not know how good he was until that fight with Gastelum. Kelvin had a hard time taking him down. One time he gets in there and Adesanya throws up a choke and then uses that to scramble. He's back to his feet. Okay, now I know how good he is. I did not know. Can he go 5 full rounds? Yes, he can. I've already known for a long time how good Whittaker is. Why it's taken everybody else so long to catch up, I don't know. But those days are now done. When you sell 40,000 tickets to watch you fight live, and when you break a box office record, you've done something special. And I have to tell you, a lot of this is self-serving. Not for nothing, but I had all those records before I left. I mean, I must tell you that. I had the live gate. I not only had the live gate, I also had number 2, live gate. I mean, these were titles that were very special. Yeah, you get a championship, but there's other titles. You'd be the king of pay-per-view. It's a good feeling. You sell more t-shirts than anybody. It's a good feeling. You step away, somebody comes in and takes all those records. They start doing some numbers where you look at your old record and go, man, we're not even close. We are not even close. But that's what the sport does. It moves very quickly. And it is very rare that you can get guys together in this kind of a scenario. It is very rare where you can have a fight going into it. And if anybody tries to argue with you about how big a fight is, and you can simply turn to numbers to shut them right up and go, oh, no. This sumbitch is big. Oh, yeah, by the way, that's the champion. Well, wait a minute. This guy's got a belt. He's the champion. Yeah, he's the champion too. Do you see this? This is as big as it gets. But this is not about the 185-pound king. I submit to you my own belief. But that belief is whoever comes out of this thing on top is the greatest fighter in the world. And I also feel it is the first fight ever where we send these guys in and we have the opportunity to have this narrative. Now, I realize what a fake conversation this is. I realize it is, Batman versus Superman. You're arguing about all the possible integers, and then you have to always hear from the idiots that want to come out here and say, I get that. I get the whole thing. But guys, I think we can group together. I think for the first time ever, we have an opportunity to settle the debate, to settle the dispute, bring Batman out of one corner, bring Superman out of the other. I mean, this feels like what's happening here. If you don't agree with me, I would argue for you that you have not watched Israel Adesanya fight. If you do not agree with me, I would argue for you, you have not seen Robert Whittaker. These guys are nothing short of superheroes. Now, Adesanya talks up a little bit more, and he's risen a little bit faster. I understand that. And Whittaker's a little more quiet. He's a little more Clark Kent with the suit. I get it. But we're hardcore fans. We've got the data. We know exactly what it means to win the toughest tournament in all of sports. We know exactly what it means to start at the bottom, make it to the main event, go in there a 4-1 dog against a former Olympian, beat his ass, and your reward is now you got to go beat his ass again. Shatter your hand, walk out there, try to fight with intestinal problems when you're laying on the bathroom floor and your wife has to call a trainer who calls a doctor who removes you by ambulance and you still weighed in the day before. Talk about Whittaker here. These guys are superheroes. They are super good. They are fighting to find out who the greatest fighter in this sport is. For the first time ever. Don't worry about what's on the test, teacher. Just show up and enjoy the class. This is going to be fun. And whoever comes out of that, and mark my words, particularly if it's Adesanya, in all fairness, with all due respect to Whittaker, Whittaker will have achieved remarkable things. But Adesanya is this close to becoming the face of the company. To explain to you guys what all is on the line when we go down under, I'm doing my best. Not for nothing, I got pretty good rhetorical skills. I feel I'm falling a little flat. Hey, Aussies, by the way, I'm coming down under. I need to know 3 things. Where's the best coffee? Talking Melbourne. Where's the best steak? And where's the best meat pie?